Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. It's casting day today because I've been spending way too long on the last science video. I found out that some of my statistical analysis have not been necessarily the best, which makes sense because I got a D in statistics. So one of you lovely people reached out to me and said, hey, you're doing it all wrong. He phrased it much nicer than that, but yeah, so I've been spending like 5 to 6 hours running stats tests on the next science video, but let's focus on this cast because I need a break from seeing broadswords attacking flak units. So let's get into introducing our players and the map. It's going down on Adaptive Millennium. We've been here lots of times before. It's a fan favorite. A lot of the reason why is because of the massive amounts of reclaims, which means we get bigger toys faster. And it's still a sort of open map. It has some choke points, but it does allow for some relative dynamic gameplay. We're going to call this Team 1 up at the top, this Team 2 down at the bottom. Let's get into introducing our players. On his way to the middle, actually building a Hydra, we have Cat with Bucket, who's going UEF opening first land. In the air position, we have Nickname Deleted, who's going UEF also opening first land. To his east, we have Azuros, probably one of the nicest 2K players I've ever played with, to be honest with you. He's going Seraphim, opening first land. Continuing with our eastern pattern, we have Valone going Seraphim, opening first land, working on his Hydro. Next, we've got, where is he? There he is, Ava Maria, although it might be a her, I'm not sure, going Seraphim, opening first land. And last but not least, for team number 1, we have we're going to call him Sodi, because I'm not going to say all of that, but he's going Aeon. How very unfortunate. Opening first, second, and third land as is befitting that slot. Moving to team number 2, we've got Suki going UEF, opening first land, second air. And in the rearguard air position, we have Nikorocek, who is going Seraphim, opening first land. To the west, we've got Empty Noob going a Cybran, opening first land. Got a whole network of power generators queued up as well. Continuing with our westerly trajectory, already in the middle, actually scooping some reclaim, we've got Ninrai, who's going a Cybran, and he opened, I would assume, first land. Yep, that is the case. Next, we've got Visachi or Suchi, Visochi, I'm guessing. I don't know. Going Aeon, opening first, second, third, and fourth land. And last but not least for the game, going to the middle to scoop some of that lovely reclaim, we have Lord Mrak. And he's going UEF, opening first land. Undecided as of yet what his second factory is going to be. Nope, just made the decision. He's going to go land all day, which you would expect in that particular position on this map. So we've been on this map several times before, as we're seeing commanders condensing for this middle reclaim. There's some juicy rocks in the middle, although people argue about how consequential these rocks actually are, considering all of the reclaim that you actually have in your base, which is quite substantial, enough to overwhelm any noob like myself in building a power grid. But either way, we've got Valone as well as Ninrai exchanging some blows in the middle. And they're going to walk away with, I think that Ninrai picked up most of that reclaim, but they're both gonna shift queue up a bunch of trees at this point. This map is usually played on, I think it's like 2x, 3x reclaim, something like that. So trees are actually, usually they don't really show up as reclaim, and I think it's because trees are 1 mass per tree, if I'm remembering correctly. So it doesn't show up if you actually hold Control Shift, but they are a reclaim value, and on triple reclaim, they are of course 3 mass per tree. So it's not an insignificant amount of mass in the slightest. I don't remember exactly what tree clumps are. I'm sure people will correct me down in the comments below. But either way, trees are often looked at as an insignificant source of mass, and they are anything but in pretty much any game you play, whether it be ladder or custom games. Gun speed and range on pause actually for Ava Maria in that far, or not the far, but the easterly pond. Gonna resume that. Gun range on the way for Visochi. I'm gonna say that name differently every time I read it. That's okay. And gun range on the way for Sodi. Sodi. Sounds like I'm saying sorry. T2 on the way for Ninrai, and gun damage and range on the way for Suki. Now, Suki, not to be confused with Sodi. That really sounds like I'm saying sorry. And T2 now on the way for Azuros, as well as he sets up a little bit of a proxy base here in the middle with a couple land factories, some engineers, grabbing some reclaim on that lovely attack move order. If y'all don't know how to do this, let me see if I can actually show the command. So if you select your factory and instead of selecting a rally point, you hold Alt and right click, it's going to select an attack move out of your factory, which means that your engineers do things like this. They reclaim much further, much faster. It's a very, very efficient way to grab reclaim if you have the ability to either put factories up on the front line or have the ability to set a rally point for your engineers. But it's a great way to grab reclaim. Got some initial engagements now kicking off on the eastern side of the map. I can't tell my east from west, just like I can't tell my left from right. Never been able to turn left. I'm not an ambi-turner, y'all. It's terrible. T2 also on the way for Valone in the middle as well. So expecting fire bases from both of the middle players as Azuros gets up a Nuta Shala in the middle. Because that's how we like to say the Seraphim T2 point defense. Just seems like a really, really brutal and guttural way to say it. And I love saying it that way. So as far as air players go, this is a map that you can progress relatively quickly in the air game. So Tech 2 already on for Nikorocek. He's getting that first Tech 2 power generator up. And his opponent, nicknamed Deleted, actually already has his first Tech 2 power generator up, going for the back headquarters position, getting his second Tech 2 power generator up. So first, second, not sure if that's exactly what I said. Also got an energy storage to boot, which is lovely to see. I don't have the mini map enabled, which is very foolish of me. We have it enabled now. Tech 2 point defense going down in the middle as well, therefore Ninrai. So pretty standard stuff on this map. You're going to see a lot of Tech 2 point defense. Although this is a pretty heavy push now coming in from both Ava Maria as well as Sodi. They're on Sochi, not Sodi, Sochi. That's going to be 2 gun comms, I believe 2 fully upgraded gun comms versus 1 gun comm. And I don't need to tell you all how this is going to end up. So long as Ava and Sodi continue pushing into the base. They got a lot of T1 spam with them as well, and Suki seems to be in a pretty rough position here. I think as long as these commanders keep advancing. I'm not sure why Ava Maria keeps kind of waffling around back there. It's time to go for the throat, go for the kill, go for blood, baby. That's what we love to see on these chats. Suki's going to drop down below 4k HP. He's facing off against 2 gun commanders, and there's not really anything, I think, that can help him at this point in time. No gunships on the way, air players focusing on T3, no land. Well, actually, Empty Noob has got his hands full with his own little land incursion over there. We'll get to that in a second, but Suki going to hide himself in the corner. Let's get a nice point defense down. That's good. That'll slow down Sodi's commander for, 3 or 4 seconds. Actually just going to ignore it and go for the kill. Suki ejected from the game at 9 minutes in. And I'm not quite sure whether full share is on this game or not. I know y'all love the full share games. Aha, full share is on. Would you look at that? Empty Noob, the lucky recipient of a base that is under siege from 2 different commanders. I'm like 90% sure Suki was a character in the Fast and Furious movies, but I'm now blanking on Which Fast and Furious movie? Maybe it was Tokyo Drift. It was either Tokyo Drift or the earlier two. Oh, I think Suki was the girl that drove like the, I think she had a pink convertible in Too Fast, Too Furious, so the second movie, if I'm remembering correctly. But Suki drove that car, which is a hot pink convertible with NOS, because every car in Fast and Furious has NOS. Who knows how the people in those movies were able to afford such cars, but you know how it is. I love those movies. I grew up watching those movies. As a Drop was actually attempted by Nickname Deleted, and not going to go anywhere. Empty Noob on the case, actually not giving the plateau to his air player. I think his air player, which would be Nicorocheck, might not have even gone for this initially. I didn't quite see, but either way, Empty Noob now is securing the plateau for his team. He's going to be able to take out this land factory. Taking some Zooey fire from the low ground, but nothing really to be concerned with. Both the land factories are going to go down. And as soon as they mop up this little T1 incursion right here, that's two mass extractors that are ripe for the taking. But back to more important things, like gun speed and range coming in for Valone really quickly also. Thanks to that T2 upgrade on the commander. This is another thing. Y'all might not know, but if you upgrade your commander with an engineering suite, it does mean that your commander upgrades finish faster, which is really nice perk of that. The only reason I point that out is because I know I've got players of all skill levels that watch my casts, so I like to point out little things like that where I can. As in the middle, Valone on a little bit of a mission. Doesn't have any buildings queued up yet, I don't think. But he's going to tank some Cerberus fire. Does have the gun speed and range gun upgrade, as well as Tech 2, so it is a pretty tanky commander at 13,000 HP. But being very aggressive here, going to take out a TMD. He does have a tactical missile launcher back here, so that was probably his mission there. As we see a missile fire, it seems to be curving there for Ninrai's base. Probably one of the Tech 2 mechs is back here, which is annoying, to say the least. Yeah, that's going to be tasty. This little tasty Tech 2 mechs pickup. Ninrai, though, quick to re-erect his Zapper, so it's going to shut down that TML until Valone gets brave once again and moves forward. Shield upgrade also on the way for Sodi. And any other comm upgrades? There's a gun range upgrade on the way on the far left-hand side for Visochi. There was Visochi, Suki, and Sodi. There's way too many names that sound very similar. And Sodi, as well as Ava Maria, have set up camp. Got a couple of tactical missile launchers in this base. They're going to be raining hellfire down from above on both Ninrai's base. So Ninrai's lost another Tech 2 mass extractor. It would appear that Nicorocheck was quick enough to get a TMD up on that little point of the cliff, save himself from any other Tech 2 mech's losses, which is important if you're playing air. It's important if you're playing any position, but I just like stating the obvious. It's important if you're playing whatever position. Gun speed now on the way for Visochi, so getting himself the last little bit of a gun upgrade. Nano repair kicking off there for Valone, so you can see why this map is very, very popular. It gives you the ability to get lots of really, really big toys really quickly. Like this is going to be a fully triple upgraded commander at 13-14 minutes, and behind this he's still able to get some good eco, still able to get Tech 2, etc. So, you know, he's already got a Tech 3 max. So you can see why this map is popular. A lot of the reclaim and just the overall game style allows you to get to big toys And if there's anything that Supreme Commander fans love more than big toys, I have yet to see it. And there's a that's what she said joke in there somewhere. I'll let y'all use your imagination. On the left side of the map, things have gotten relatively stagnant as we've got a Tech 2 Horde sitting out here for Lord Mrak. He's got some mobile missile launchers, actually able to break through the shield, and the Buzzkill's struggling to keep up. Well, actually, they're doing a pretty good job now. I think he got a couple more, so he should be able to deal with. How many mobile missile launchers is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3 zappers should be able to deal with that relatively well. Especially if they stop firing like that. Although now they've started firing again, so. Those in conjunction with the shields, it'll make it a very, very difficult position for Lord Mrak to actually make a move on, unless he gets a gun commander with shields. So Visochi getting a shield upgrade very quickly, feeling quite emboldened by that shield upgrade, and then running with his tail tucked between his legs, then deciding, nope, I'm a coward. I was being a coward. I need to move forward. Now he's moving forward with a very small T1 army that is going to get absolutely annihilated by all the point defense and Mongoose out here. So we'll see how much Visochi can actually get done here. I might be underestimating this commander a little bit. Oh, he's taking a lot of triad fire. Shield is about down. Yeah, so that's going to force him into the water. So we do have some shield disruptors back here. So Visochi up to T3 land. And shield disruptors, not a unit we see very often, but supremely good at dealing with shield generators. Those in conjunction with mobile missile launchers, quite effective. In the middle though, Valone has once again found his courage, pushing forward in conjunction with Sodi, who has moved over. This is starting to look rough for team number 2 at this point. They've lost one base. It has now been taken over by Sodi as well as Ava Maria. And Valone with that nano gun and Tech 2 still. Yep, Tech 2 upgrade still. Feeling relatively confident in himself. Same with Sodi. The shield upgrade as well as a fully upgraded gun. It's quite a bit of Cerberus though to push into whenever you only got Tech 1. And that's where we're going to see Sodi back off. But anyway, back to more important things, like I was talking about earlier. So I'm pretty sure Suki was the one that drove the hot pink convertible with Nos. And it's always boggled my mind how every single person in those movies seem to have like next to no jobs and do no work. But they all have like super tricked out cars. And I'm a car guy. I like cars. I got a couple cars. I don't have any of them piped up with Nos though. I mean, one of them it wouldn't really make sense, but the other one I could. Maybe I should do that. Let's just run nitrous oxide into my BRZ without upgrading anything else. Like no exhaust, don't upgrade the crank. Don't do anything else. There's a lot of car people right now screaming at me like, "Yes, you can absolutely do that." I don't know anything about those kinds of upgrades. I just know that I need to upgrade things to even put a turbo in there, so I'm assuming my OEM clutch is not going to hold up to Nos if I decided to pipe that into my engine. I'm assuming I need a stage 2 clutch for that. Either way, Tech 3 now on the way for Ava Maria, who has moved back to his or her base, I'm not quite sure. And in our world of political correctness, I don't want to misgender anybody. It's going to be a mech down for Empty Noob though. So Empty Noob still holding control over this because he has a land factory there as well with units, but kind of constantly under attack by mobile artillery from the plateau below. Mobile missile launchers deployed from Valone. hitting some of these Cerberus point defense. There is a zapper. More on the way now from Empty Noob. Shield comes up in just the nick of time, so he's probably not going to lose that one Cerberus turret. At least that's what I'm going to pretend. Nah, he should be fine. Should be fine. And on the left side of the map, got Sochi continuing to try and push that position. Every time, though, those triads, they always get you. Alright, let's look at the back lines here. Azuros has been pretty quiet. He's a 2K player. He's going for an Ethoda and is double ringing his mexes as we speak. I had a really funny encounter with double ringing mexes. First off, I didn't know how to do it. I know it's been patched into the game for a really long time to make it really easy to do. I didn't know how to do it for the longest time. And then I was playing a game with one of the groups of guys that I play with. And we were playing on, I can't remember. Oh, hello. We got an Ethoda coming in from Empty Noob actually as well. So we'll put a pin in that story. Just remember it ends with a really funny punchline of Duelist not doing what he was supposed to do. Although I don't know how that's unexpected at all, because that's pretty much the entirety of my Forge Alliance Forever career. As that Ethoda is punching through the middle, Azuros finishes his Ethoda. You can see the little banner there, but we're going to focus on this guy. Moving up through the middle, Empty Noob not supporting it with any other units though, so that's going to leave it vulnerable to T1 bomber strikes like these from Valone. Although Valone's going to need quite a few more T1 bombers to actually make a huge difference there. You can see ASF's getting dispatched from Nikorocek to deal with any air incursions. We got Stingers coming in from Nickname Deleted right about the time the ASF show up. ASF's also from Nickname Deleted trying to cover his units, but a little bit too much of an air force, I think, from Nikorocek. Although Nikorocek not fighting in a really great spot and taking some kind of bad turns here. He's fighting over some flak as well as some T3 mobile. He's going to lose a lot of his ASF, and that's going to leave a couple Stingers alive to continue battering into the Ethoda. Also gives Azuros Ethoda time to get up to the front line. Azuros also towing a bunch of Othams. So we got some supporting units as well for the Ethoda, which is always good to see. So drop there from Ninrai, not going to get anything done, but love to call it out. Because you know anybody who reviews my games is going to call that kind of stuff out. Speaking of, there are a lot of other casters out in the Forge Alliance Forever community, and a lot of other content creators, even if they don't actually do casts like the one that I do. Some of the ones off the top of my head, Function, Acid Bash, Scooby. I imagine a lot of y'all know Willow, but if you don't, he is also a caster and content creator, so definitely check those guys out. They do some really good content. You can also check my description or my subscriptions in my channel for said channels if you're looking for them, because some of these really small channels, like I had to like jump through a lot of hoops with YouTube's search engine to find Acid Bash's channel the other day. So yeah, if you're having trouble finding them, just check my subscriptions. I believe I'm subscribed to all of them. If I'm not, you have my sincerest apologies, and I will rectify that as soon as I possibly can. Tech 3 on the way for Ninrai. That's on pause. That was I was really trying to build up to something there and wasn't able to. But this is something we can build up to. Some liberation, baby. That's some good building up. As the engineers are actually building the nuke. Literally as we speak, underground, inside this facility. Just wrap your minds around that. There is a nuclear missile that is being constructed by all of these drones, firing laser beams into the Liberator as we speak. How crazy is that? This literally looks like some kind of trap that Angelina Jolie would jump through in Tomb Raider or something like that. I don't know. But either way, that's about a quarter of the way done. Inrai, obviously, diverting some solid resources there. So what are we talking about as far as cars go before we lose our track? So there's some comm upgrades going up here, ARAS, nano repairs, etc. As far as cars go, oh yeah, I don't know anything necessarily about cars. That was what I was saying, and I think that was where we left off the conversation. What did I say to put a pin in? Something about, oh yes, double ringing mexes. So yes, if the mass extractor is Tech 3, you can double click this and it'll automatically put mass fabricators around this. So there was a game that I was playing with some of my friends where I was playing Air, and one of the guys was like, hey, yo, Duelist, you should double ring your mexes. And I was like, yeah, I know there's a hotkey for that. What is that? He was like, oh, you just literally shift and double click. I was like, oh, okay. And there was this one mex that just wouldn't do it. I couldn't figure it out. And so I stupidly asked in voice chat. I was like, hey, there's this one mex. It's got mass storage around it, but I can't ring it with mass fabricators. And one of the guys was like, yeah, it's because it's the T1 mex, you idiot. So not only did I have a Tech 1 mex at like, this was like 47, like an hour into the game. This was very late game. Not only did I have a T1 mex at that point in the game, but somehow I had put mass storage around it as well. So I had a T1 mex at an hour into the game that was ringed with mass storage. So yeah, it was a big facepalm moment for me right there. If you do the opposite of what I do, you will win lots of games, believe me. So the opposite of doing what I did in that situation would be upgrade your mechs and then put mass storage around it. I still don't have any idea how that happened. The only thing I can think of is that it died as we got to Athotis pushing in with a bunch of Othams. The only thing I can think of in that situation is that it died from a strat bomb or something like that. And then I rebuilt it with the mass storage still built around it. That's like the only thing I can think of. As Azuros pulverizes in Athota, we have a GC moving in from the west, from Sochi. These Athotas, though, outside of that GC, not really a whole lot that's going to stop them. And I believe an Athota wins against a GC. Straight up fight. There are a lot of Cerberus turrets, though, so I need to clean these out. Also needs to bring these Othams in, although I thought there were more of these. I guess there are now less of them, which I guess tends to happen if you run them into point defense. Oh, and there's also an Athota coming out from Empty Noob, so yeah, I think this push from Azuros is going to yield some fruits, as he was able to mop up the firebase, but not as many fruits as he wanted. Like, I think he was looking for like an entire apple orchard, and he ended up getting like a bag of apples from Groker that are all covered in wax and everything. That's not great. And he's going to lose an Athota for his trouble. There is a Fat Boy, though, getting a little bit too close. Restore also coming in from Sodi. They're going to run into an ASF cloud from Nikorocek, so Restorers do have good AA, but against that many ASF, you're going to be hard pressed. So were they, as they got pressed into the ground. And GC is still alive, forcing the Fat Boy to retreat, actually. As it goes down now to the Ion Storm from the Athota. Quite nasty, those Ion Storms. They like throw out a lot of ions. I'm not quite sure what's wrong with ions, but I've been watching this show called Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, which if you're into aliens, paranormal, UFO kind of stuff, which I am, I know a lot of it is probably fake, but you know, it tickles my fancy a little bit. They keep talking about this thing called ionizing radiation, which I'm guessing is a lot of ions, and those are bad, I'm guessing. As a nuke now comes out from Empty Noob, that is headed for Ava Maria's base. That S&B is very nearly loaded, so it is a race against the clock here. It's close. That's going to be really close. Nuke is coming in. Nuke is going to drop. Oh! Wow. Might wanna go throw $100 down on a blackjack table after that one. 'Cause that is this is the luckiest you're ever gonna get. Trying to get back some of that reclaim from GC. Gonna get decimated by the Athoda. Now we have a very healthy and vetted Athoda going up against a less healthy and non-vetted Athoda. And some of the micro there from Empty Noob has caused a couple of shots from Azuros to miss. Actually, that combined with the Nathas and the Ion Storm, that might be able to kill off Azuros's Athoda. It needs to get that boy out of there. Needs to get it to a safe spot, far away from his base, and potentially control K and reclaim it. I say this like I do that in any of my games. I don't. I would just park this bad boy at the back of my base and hope it regens, and I'll save it for a rainy day. But on the left-hand side, this is interesting. We've got a Monkey Lord on the way. And I think that that Monkey Lord is already skirmished with portions of Cat with Bucket's base. So we'll see how good this bucket is that this cat has. But I'll tell you, this fat boy is dead. There was something way cooler I could have said there. The Monkey Lord gonna go down though to Ravagers, I think. They fire again. Yeah, get another volley off. That is a Dunzo Monkey Lord. So Cat with Bucket able to trap the monkey in said bucket. So however big this bucket is, we know it's big enough to hold a monkey. Not just a monkey, but a Monkey Lord. I'm not sure how big a Monkey Lord is in the animal kingdom, but it's got to be bigger than a regular monkey if you just use kind of process of elimination. And the fact that Lord just kind of evokes things that are bigger, like, you know, Elden Ring, Elden Lord. The Elden Lord has got to be bigger than the Elden Ring, you know? I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring lately. Alright, that fat boy, very close to going down. Okay, I thought that shell was gonna hit it with the AoE. Able to get it under the water once again. Let's check in with the boys in the back line. Let's check in with Sochi this time. What has he got going? We've got a Quantum Gateway spitting out Rascoms. And he's getting some Tech 3 land up. Also has a little template with some mass fabs, as well as, this is an interesting template, or I don't know if this is a template or not, but looks to be power generator, 4 mass fabs, and then a bunch of land factories, Tech 3. So if that isn't a template, it's an interesting one. I would need to test that out, as we see a gigantic bomber flying across the top of our screen. And that is, of course, from Empty Noob, who has been a non-stop factory for experimentals. And that ass washer going straight in for Cat with Bucket. So I don't know how the Cat with the Bucket is going to outwash the ass washer. And I think that was a Control K. Oh, that was a Natha snipe, but the ass washer actually going in for nickname Deleted's base. Nickname Deleted is about to have his own base deleted, as he has no ASF anymore. Screening ASFs from Nikorocek were able to pick those up. So the ass washer still looking relatively healthy. Gonna get one more pass on Nickname Deleted's base. Restorers there from Sodi trying to do what they can, as ass washer wheels for another turn. It's too bad the Cat with the Bucket couldn't wash enough to deal with the ass washer. Obviously the bucket big enough to deal with the Monkey Lord, but not big enough to outwash the washer itself. Sam's looking to go up, but Nickname Deleted's entire air grid now lies in ruins. Ass washer going to get another payload off that I think gets, I thought it got picked up by the shield, but it was actually going for this little army there for Azuros. And team number one need, I think, mass ground-based AA at this point. Their air player is well and truly crippled, as the AA that Azuros was trying to get up gets absolutely annihilated by the Ass Washer. Cat with Buckets old base. There's no end of puns that I can make there, so I'm going to continue making them. As the Ass Washer once again drops a load into the Bucket's old base. Too much for the Bucket to handle. Cat with Bucket's not even in this game anymore. I'm still making fun of him in his username. Sorry, buddy. If you watch my channel, I'm sorry. There's too many good memes for that one. But also going to pick up ton of mixes. Ithoda somehow able to survive through it. Fat Boy loses its shields. That Ass Washer has its run of the western side of the map at this point. Empty Noob also dumping a lot of attention into microing it as well. Empty Noob also a Tech 3 Air, so he's got some ASF of his own. Going in for another pass. That is bye-bye, Fat Boy. This base is done. Azuros has drawn lines of Tech 3 Sams, and players on the other players on Team 1 are kind of following suit here, with Sam starting to sprinkle around the areas outside their base, which is definitely good. Azuros is at Tech 3 Air for himself and actually starting a Novax, so he's over 50% of the way done with the first one. Not quite sure what is available out of East team's bases to deal with that kind of long-range firepower. We do have a Duke under construction there for Ninrai. And all the other artillery shots that I'm seeing are coming from the bank of Gunthers towards the front of Ninrai's base. So we go into another little bit of a standoff. It's kind of like World War I. Artillery dominated World War I. Close. Sodi tries to make a play for the Ass Washer. He's also a Tech 3 Air. So it seems like everybody on team number 1 now getting into Tech 3 Air to support their air player. His nickname deleted, no longer really has any form of air factories anymore. Although he's getting them back up now. He's back up to 1, 2, 3, 4 total air factories. So still got a little bit of ways to go, but much better than where he was at. Valone finishes an experimental unit. We got an Ithoda for him. Nikrochek finishes an experimental unit. That is another Ass Washer is out, in addition to the 5-rank vet Ass Washer from Empty Noob that has been terrorizing team number 1 and has actually evicted team number 1 from the far western side, or the far eastern side of the map as well. I'm going to follow Nikrochek's Ass Washer. He's going in on the air HQ that is not in a very advisable position there for Sodi. Sochi also finishes up his own experimental unit. That would be another GC, I believe, right? Yep, another GC. Ass Washer heads off map, so we can't really see it. Comes back on, kills some mexes. Y'all know the drill at this point. Nikrochek has a stranglehold on the air game at this point. That Ithoda from Azuros, taking out some RAS presets. 2 Fat Boys from Ava Maria now pushing in through the middle. There's the Ass Washer from Empty Noob still terrorizing things. Nikorocek takes out a swath of Ava Maria's base and is now appearing to hover bomb. Although there's lots of T3AA on the ground in this in these bases, so that ass washer is going to go down, and Nikorocek's air is now in not a very good spot. There's a lot of SAMs here. He's going to lose several ASFs getting out of that predicament. And his ASF count not looking anywhere near as healthy as it was before. I believe before he went into that engagement he had 50-ish, and now he's walking out with less. 33 total on the map, including ones newly minted from his base. But the two fat boys get annihilated by empty noobs. Newly minted and veteran now Awasa. The Duke is nearing completion. Azeros has finished his Novax. He's now harassing Ninrai's base. And he had multiple of those queued up. So second one is over 2/3 of the way done as well. It's got a good amount of build power on that. That's going up actually really quickly. So second one going to hit pretty soon. Fortunately though, as I discovered in a 2 a.m. game that I was streaming for some reason, because I was stupid, and there were several of y'all that were watching that game, including Jagged Appliance, which if there was like one game that I wanted Jagged to watch, it was not that game. But I had like 6 Novax in that game. I was like, if I just get more Novax, I can break their shields. It doesn't work like that. Novax are really not great at breaking shields. They're good at intel gathering and taking out perimeter mexes. So I need to shift these over, take out these mexes down here, take out this one up here. You know, I mean, one Novax is not going to break through this number of shields, especially because it looks like his hives are actually assisting his shields. So yeah, I like to backseat drive whenever I cast. I would never think of these things because I haven't thought of them before whenever I'm playing. But I do like to backseat drive whenever I cast because it makes me feel better. As individual Awasa shells going down on nano combatant presets actually there from Valone. I believe these are, if I remember, no, the nano combatant is different than the advanced combatant, if I remember right. I don't know my support commanders very well. I know that RAS is a thing and the Seraphim don't get them. But a lot of y'all have asked for tests on the Seraphim Advanced Combatant preset because you were unhappy with the Rambo Com preset for the Seraphim. You guys believe that the Advanced Combatant preset is more effective than the Rambo Com. I'm more than willing to oblige as soon as I get this particular science video done. I'll probably queue that one up next. Unless I think of something else that I want to do before then. In which case I'll probably do that. Which is the nice thing about running a channel, is I get to do what I want. But there's no denying, while I get to do what I want, there's no denying the fact that these ass washers are terrorizing Team 1 at this point. Team 1 has pretty much locked down their main bases with Tech 3 AA. There is pretty healthy Air Force out for multiple players, so they could probably fight air if they needed to, but it's not going to be pleasant by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, Sodi nearly losing a GC to these ass washers as well. Gets it under the water. Got a couple of Ithodas there, out for Valone. But really, I think up to the man himself to deal with the ever-mounting artillery pressure. We've got a Duke that is now finished there for Ninrai. We have a Havatham on the way for Empty Noob. And are there any other artilleries that are on the way? Wow, we have an emissary also on the way for Sochi. So Azuros going to have to do some real big artillery stuff. We do have a Havatham about halfway there for Valone, and also an emissary a little over a quarter of the way done for Ava Maria. Benefiting from some Aeon tech that I'm assuming was given over from Sodi. So we'll keep an eye on that in the artillery game, see how that goes. As these Athotas are going to once again their booties cleaned out, although this time nickname deleted, able to hit back a little bit. Valone also with his Air Force. Nickname deleted though, diving for the last ass washer. I don't think that was the right move. Should have supported Valone's ASF. Might have been able to get a more favorable air engagement with two Air Forces in the game. As it was, walked away with neither the second ass washer or Nick Rochek's Air Force in check. Get it? Nick Rochek in check. Thank you, I'll be here all week. So that first artillery done. Seeing other artillery shells that are going the opposite direction. A Havatham getting closer, 10,000 HP. Emissary is crawling right now as far as... Okay, there it goes. I think Ava Maria shifting around some build power there. But everything is covered as well by SMDs, multiple SMDs actually, across these bases, which is good to see. Novaks still cranking, although there's not a whole lot of options, good options for rear shielding for these Novaks, or shielding at all, because you've got point defense, you've got mexes, kind of in the ideal band where you would want some shielding, and then you've got a cliff back here for the rest of the shielding, so should hold up to one artillery just fine, maybe two, but you're going to be pushing it once you get to three. As the Thota goes down, two GCs pushing up the middle there from Sochi. Another Novak satellite flying out. Where are all three of these Novak satellites? So we do have one. Well, these seem to be kind of harassing more perimeter structures at this point, as the Havatham actually for empty noob goes up, and he's starting on a disruptor of his own. Whereas this emissary is also up, so that's three artilleries for team number 2. Havatham up for Valone. This emissary, though, probably not going to complete. It's that last shell impacts and takes out the power generators. Last power generator going to go down. Ava Maria not going to be able to get that artillery up. And now Novak's potentially under threat for 3 artilleries. It's getting Havatham fire for sure. Not quite sure where the disruptor fire, or the disruptor fire is going. The disruptor fire is actually going after Valone's Havatham. And one of the artillery installations going after nickname Deleted's base. Looking to re-delete his base off the map once again. Alright, Asswasher coming in. Seems to be on a kamikaze run, honestly. It's going to time it really well with that artillery shell. Oh no! It's going to take out 2 of the Novaks. The 3rd and 4th one's still up, but also taking out some of the shielding, as well as a lot of mass generation there for Azuros. He's focusing on getting more shields up right now. Needs to preserve these wrecks if he can, so that he can rebuild on top of them. As far as why you would do that, rebuilding on top of a wreck means that you get to save a good amount of mass. He does have a nice ass washer that was deposited in the back of his base, so that's some good reclaim at least, to the tune of nearly 40,000. But he needs to get his base in order. And this Hovatham not looking like it has nearly enough shielding at this point either. As we have some shield generators exposed. Now the entire grid is exposed. It's going to be one shield generator down. Another heavy shield pops up just in the nick of time, so that's 2. Standing up against what looks to be 2 artillery right now. Nope, that's going to be all 3. All 3 artillery, so the Emissary, Hovatham, as well as the Duke, all firing on this location. And Seraphim Shield's really good, but not able to get enough of them up fast enough, it would seem. The power generator is going to take a hit, go critical. The Hovatham, shield goes up just in the nick of time. I'm not sure if Valone is power stalling right now as that shield buckles and that Hovatham goes boom. Okay, so that was all of the artillery that Team 1 had to answer. Still got some Novaks. Novaks are trying to get through Empty Noob's shields. Azuros also trying to get back this starting location as well. Has an Athoda to do it. That Athoda is going to deal with a lot of Tech 3. A lot of Tech 3. Enough Tech 3. That's too much Tech 3, I think. That combined with the Strat Bombers coming in. That Athoda's history. Is it? Maybe? Did I lie? Nope, I didn't lie. I never lie. And now artillery is all focusing on Azuros' base. That's going to be another Novaks down. So both of these top Novaks went down even after he rebuilt these first 2. And those guys just getting their satellites out. But it's just hard to shield these in the position that they're in. Third one going down. Only left with one Novaks left. And that's kind of the last long-range offensive option there for team number 1 as we're coming up to 47 minutes into the game. Like I said, this map's fun. A lot of big toys really quickly. What the hell? Considering, talking big toys, we've got Tempest being built by Sodi. Curious, can I see the range on these before they're built? Okay, so that's a pretty good range for these Tempests. But yeah, you're gonna need a lot of them, and you're gonna have to sink a lot of mass into them. First one's not done yet. As Azuros continues reshielding his base. Shields blinking on and off though. I'm not sure if he's microing them or if he's dealing with power issues. Nope, definitely not dealing with power issues, so seems to be microing them on or off, or they're just buckling under the pressure. But has 2 rebuilt Novaks. One of these going after, now, not sure what it's quite going after. That first Tempest is going to finish. I mean, even right up against this, what is this going to do? Can I move this guy and see its range? No, I cannot. So right now it's attacking a Megalith. I mean, it's a good target to attack. You don't want Megaliths to live. You want Megaliths to die. Unless they're yours or your team's Megalith. But nickname deleted has lost his base once again. And it's looking dire for team number 1 at this point. Don't think Tempests were the play. Not sure Novaks were the play either. On this map, it's really easy to shield everything. Shields really counter Novaks pretty well, I think. Happy to be proven incorrect. Backseat gaming. Love to do it. Although this isn't even really like backseat gaming because this game was played a long time. This game was played a couple days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, something like that. I think it was on Saturday. I'm trying to remember. I'm recording this on Monday, in case y'all were curious. I'm probably gonna upload it on Monday, but I think this game was played on Saturday, so I don't even know if this is really backseat driving. This is me like following on the interstate 15 miles behind, telling you what to do. It's even worse than backseat driving. Imagine having like a CV radio hooked up to, man, a lot of y'all real young people might not even know what CV radios are. But back in the old days, whenever we used to go on road trips, we used to have CB radios that we would have that we could talk to other people with. A lot of it was truckers. My dad was into them, so he would always keep one whenever we were on road trips. Yeah, this is like having a CB radio and then yelling over the radio what somebody 20 miles ahead of you on the interstate was supposed to be doing. It's like backseat driving times infinity. So that's another nuke that's out. It's going after this position, so got a quantum gateway here. I don't see a nuke defense. Not sure if this one's gonna reach. Not gonna reach. So that nuke is gonna land. Gonna take out some positions. Meanwhile, nickname deleted has been deleted. And I think that was a strap bomb rush. So that leaves Azuros as the air player. Although I think he's the captain of a sinking ship at this point. So what can Team 1 do to answer? I don't think Tempest is the answer. Zars. You know, it's not a bad call. I think they have ASF superiority at this point. So Zar might not be a bad call, as Valone actually goes down as well. That must have been an artillery shell to the face, because there were no strats or anything near him. So Valone's going to go down as well. That is also going to go to Azuros. But anyway, Zars might be the play, because Team 1 do have a lot of ASFs at this point. They need to do something really, really quickly. In order to bring this game back to some sort of a tenable state. 52 minutes into the game. Zar is out there for Ava Maria. Screening with ASFs. Good to see, good to see. Tempest doing their Tempest thing. Also have ASFs in from Sodi. I didn't even see those earlier. So huge ASF advantage right now for team number 1. And they are going to use it for all it's worth. Going straight in on the 3 disruptors and the Hovatham from Empty Noob right now, it would appear. So that's our not very much static AA. Down for team number 2. This could be game changer. Zar's gonna get in there, open fire. Starts taking a lot of fire. They're really quickly getting Myrmidons up. So that's Zar not going to be super long for this world. Empty Noob's commander is right here as well. Does have a lot of HP though. So that chain reaction going to take out all of the artillery there for Empty Noob. Empty Noob's commander still alive. But you can't be unhappy with that. Can't be unhappy with that run. That's three Tech 3 artillery down. So let's see how many more they have to contend with. We've got 3 disruptors now for Ninrai, as well as the emissary there for Sochi. And Azuro's actually going to control K, I believe. I believe this was actually his commander, if I saw it on the mini-map. So I think he was transporting, if I saw that correctly. But either way, I think that might have been the last gasp. There is another Zar on the way. See if this one gets anything. See if this one is able to get anything done. GC also undercover from Tempest, which is actually kind of cool. Tempest might be showing their worth a little bit. Alright, so the Zar's coming in. Our Myrmidons down now for Ninrai. That is a support commander. That's not his real commander. His real commander's back here with the little red bar above him. So Tsar taking a lot of fire. Can't even hover over its HP, but it's going to go down. It's going to take, I think, at least one of the artillery units with it, but that's still 2 disruptors and an emissary to deal with. And Ava Maria trying to get another Tsar up, but that Tsar gonna get destroyed by tactical missile launchers. And Ava Maria now out in the open, gonna take 1 artillery shell to the face. They're actually gonna nuke the Tsar wreck as well. I think they've targeted the commander. That was close. Ava Maria with advanced nano repair though as well, so able to actually headbutt quite a few of those artillery shells. Concede. I don't think that's the word you're looking for there, buddy. It's concede. As Ava Maria laughs back. I guess. I don't know. Never really thought. Oh, J is right next to H on the keyboard. Never really look at my keyboard anymore whenever I'm typing. So I had to look down and be like, why would you put an H there? Ava Maria now pirouetting. Where is Sodi's commander? Sodi's comm is in the water. Okay. Going for a Tsar of his own. I think Ava Maria just patrolling her commanders to try and keep as many artillery busy, but they're wise to that and have started going after the Tsar with the new artillery. That new construction site's going to go down. Nikorocek now has a healthy air force again. I don't even know if Team 1 has the ability to produce ASF anymore. They do. Alright, so there's still a T3 air HQ. But Ava Maria is going to bow out. It's going to leave it all up to Sodi. I think we can speed this up a little bit. Sodi with his fleet of Tempests sitting off the bay, shaking its fists at the artillery that is bombarding it. That's going to be 1 Tempest down, 2nd Tempest, and 3rd Tempest soon to follow. All that mass into those battleships to see them sink to a watery grave, as they have scouted exactly where Sodi's commander is and are going to finish him off with a nuke. That is going to be it for the cast today, ladies and gentlemen, as Team 1 pulled ahead, I think, early, but were unable to keep that lead in the face of undaunting artillery. So, with that, as well as very good airplay from MT Noob and Nikorocek from the ASF side as well as the Asswasher side. So, well played by both teams. Hope y'all enjoyed the cast, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.